So for me, my own personal model now is if it's under $50, I would kind of like want to double my money.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to A Reseller's Journey. Here is your host, eBay Joey.
Welcome to A Reseller's Journey Season 2. I'm your host, eBay Joey. Today's guest is the first reseller I ever met in person at a Burlington during a restock. His finds have been featured on Hustler Hacks live show and Know It to Flip It YouTube videos. He goes by the name TheSupaSix4, but his mama calls him Miguel. Welcome and thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. What the people don't know, man, you are the first reseller that I met, but you were also my first interview, man.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I think we were both really nervous during that interview,
Oh,
it
yeah,
came out a little weird.
it did, man. It was like the first interview. I do listen to it, but it will never get released. So
I listened to it again afterwards. I'm like, oh yeah, I can definitely tell what you're talking about.
Yeah, we're both nervous. But what was interesting, and we'll talk about it, but it was mainly I wanted to know how it was for you moving to where you're at, and then next thing you know, now I've moved from where I'm at.
That was pretty crazy, huh? Like how after that you had to move.
Yeah. So we'll get into it. I'm very excited though, man. So Miguel, thank you for making time to be on the show, man.
For sure.
All right. Well, I'm very pumped up. Let's get it started. So how'd you come up with your name, TheSupaSix4?
Well, this Super 6 4, because I video gamed a lot back in the day. So Super has always been like something I've always used in gamer tags and like online profiles and whatnot. 64 is my high school football number, and so instead of doing like Super 64, kind of sound like a Nintendo 64. I kind of stuck with Super 6 4, and I just made the Instagram account. I actually made the eBay profile page first, and then from there I made like the Instagram account. So that's basically it.
Yeah, is the Super significant to anything? Does it mean anything?
Nah, just something I think I've actually it was like one of my friends like MySpace page, like their little name they had, like Super, I forget what it was, like Super something, and I don't know, I just kind of like that. It's like Super, but not. But so I just kind of moved that to my gaming profile, like online gaming, and then again when I built like the eBay page and like Instagram, I just kind of went like 6 4, put like a number in there. That's how I got to it.
All right. Well, I'm glad you didn't pick the 6 4, the Super. That would have sounded a little weird.
Yeah. I think that's like one of the like generated ones for like Instagram. I'm like, what? No.
Yeah. So where are you based out of, man?
I'm currently based in Las Vegas, Nevada, but originally I was in Central California. That's how I met you.
Yeah. What city, man? For the people
in California?
Central California is,
at the time I lived in Ceres, California. Is just the city south of Modesto. It's like dead center California.
So were you born and raised in Modesto?
I was born in Merced, California. So that was about 30 miles south of Modesto. And after that, I kind of like raised in the Modesto area.
Yeah. So are you doing this reselling game full time or part time?
No, it's part time. I do have a full time job.
Yeah. What do you do for your full time occupation? Like, what's your background?
Okay. Yeah. I went to school for business management. So I currently work for Amazon full time.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Is that one of the reasons why you moved from the Central Valley to Vegas?
Exactly why. Yeah, I moved for work reasons. They launched a new building here in Las Vegas. I decided to just screw it and just do something out of the norm I don't normally do, out of my comfort zone. Moved out here. So yeah, that's why I'm kind of based out in Las Vegas to do the work.
Yeah, how's Las Vegas treating you, man?
Been really nice. People are nice. The finds have been great, as you know, as where we came from, what stores we used to hit up. So definitely a lot better out here.
Oh, cool. Yeah, we'll get into more of that as the podcast continues. But what really motivated you, Miguel, to just even get started with reselling? Because you're going to school. as for business management, you already know the career path you want to take. So,
Yeah.
let the audience know what really triggered your reselling bug.
All right. So I think, let me see, like 2 years ago, no, like, yeah, it was like 2 years, 2.5 years ago, I moved out of my parents' house to my own place with some friends. And what ended up happening was, like, since I moved out, I kind of needed like furniture and stuff like that. So I just went over to like the thrift stores and stuff like that. And out of the thrift store, I actually found like a Lego set, Harry Potter Lego set. And then I'm like, huh, sometimes these Lego sets are pretty valuable, right? And I just happened to pull on my phone, pull out like my Amazon app, look it up. I saw this Lego set was going for like $200. I'm like, what? And it was like a $3 Lego set at Goodwill. And so what ended up happening was, I'm like, well, you know what? I tried to sell this. It was used, and I didn't know if it had all the pieces or whatnot. So I bought it, $3 gamble, And so I took it home, counted all the pieces, realized I was missing some character pieces. All the other pieces were there. And then I'm like, I could probably sell this on eBay and like make some money. I didn't really think much of it. I had it in my room for months, didn't think nothing of it. And I'm like, you know what? I need to get rid of this. And so what ended up happening was I ended up like looking up the video on how to like sell on eBay. And I think I ran across like one of the first videos was Hustler Hacks, one of
Okay.
his videos. And then from there, it kind of sparked my interest. I'm like, what? You can find all this cool stuff and like Ross, Burlington, stuff like, and stores like that. And I'm like, I have a few Rosses in my city, and I have like a Burlington. I'm like, I never go to the stores. And then plus, since I graduated, I kind of had all this extra free time on like my off days from work. And then I wasn't really doing much. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just try this as a little hobby, see what happens. And
All
from
right.
there, kind of just kicked it off.
Yeah. How much did you sell that Lego set for, and then how long did it take for you to sell it as soon as you listed it?
Um, I think I sold it for $50, and then
Okay.
um, because like I said, it took me like a few months to actually like listed it for anything because I didn't know what to do for eBay. I
Yeah.
think maybe it was like a week or two after I listed
Okay.
it, so it was pretty quick. Like I had a few offers here and there, like lowballed offers, of course. But I was like, you know what? I just put it like the lowest I'll take is like 50. I think I listed for like 60 or something like that.
Okay.
And
A-
yeah.
And so did that bankroll? I mean, now that you have the profit, did you just use that money from the Lego set and then started buying other items, or did you kind of use money that you had set aside and you said, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna start buying stuff with
Yeah,
the
yeah,
money I have."
yeah. So like what ended up happening was that was like the only item I sold. But before I even sold it, that's when I ran into the Hustle Hacks videos,
Mm.
and then I was like, you know what? I'll just go out and find something and like try to flip it and see what happens. So what ended up happening was I used my own money. But since again I'm a single person, I don't have
Yeah.
much bills and responsibilities like that. So I do have that little bit of that cushion just in case.
Yeah.
So I didn't mind. But yeah, that's how I did. That didn't spark my bankroll, but I kind of used my own money after that.
Okay. So as soon as you sell the Lego set, you watch the Hustler Hacks video, then you go into a store. I mean, what kind of shoes are you looking for? Are you looking for other things, or was it just mainly shoes?
I was mainly shoes at first. Yeah, because I'm not really big. I wasn't really big into shoes. I didn't really know much about shoes at all. But it seemed like it was like the easiest route to go to start. Just because like you see something that kind of catches your eye, kind of
Yeah.
go look it up.
And did you have any like sneaker knowledge? Were you a sneakerhead, or
No,
was
no,
the
no, no, no. Um,
learning curve pretty difficult?
it wasn't difficult, but it did take some time, of course, to learn everything. No, I was not a sneakerhead. I
Yeah.
always wore like, I don't know, like DCs back in the day, and like
Yeah.
just like mall, because I do work in Amazon, so I have to be on my feet a lot and walk around. So I buy like Nike like walking or running shoes from like the mall and stuff. So that's all my only knowledge.
Yeah, I used to wear. I love skater shoes, man. Because when you're on like hard concrete, I used to work retail, and I would buy skater shoes just
Yeah,
because they had extra padding. They had a little air bubble. I think that's when like air bubbles were first coming on the
yeah.
scene. So no, I completely get it, man. I think that's
Plus,
those are
plus,
great.
plus,
Yeah,
those are white feet boys. They could be a little more comfortable with those DCs and skater shoes. They're a little bit wider.
Yeah, absolutely. So what platforms are you currently selling on?
I'm currently selling on eBay and Goat. I just started Macari like this
Okay.
week. Started posting stuff on Macari. But yeah, those eBay and Goat are definitely my two main selling platforms, and also OfferUp. I'm sorry, forgot about OfferUp.
Yeah. Yeah, you're an offer up assassin, man. I think for a lot of people that don't know you, I mean, like I said earlier in the intro, like you were the first person that I met. I mean, you and
Yeah,
I, we met. I met you in the Hustler Hacks chat, and I was just like, "Yo, Central Valley in the house," and you were
yeah,
like, "Well, where you at?" I'm like, "Well, I'm right here in Turlock," and
yeah,
then you're like, "Well, I'm in Modesto." So we arranged it. We started following each other.
yeah.
But that's one thing part of your reselling game that you're very good at, Miguel, is the meetup game where in Las Vegas for some reason you're crushing it, man. Give us some examples of some wins that you got in the Vegas market, like just flipping in person.
So I think like when I first moved to Vegas, I actually found some like those high end cleats,
Mhm,
from Nike outlet. Those are, like my two biggest like flips. So I think I bought them for like $60, like came out 65 after taxes.
mhm,
Some of those high end like silver box cleats, you know. I think I flipped them for like 150 in person in Vegas, like my first two flips. But yeah, there's a lot of great stuff because I feel like there's a big population out here that try to like buy stuff for the cheap, and a lot of people use OfferUp out here, so you can
mhm,
definitely find some steals out here. So I remember another one I actually purchased was a pair of foam posits. I think I bought them for like $60 off this guy. They're brand new without box. They still had like the shoe trees in them, and I was like, I looked at them over. I'm like, all right, these look legit. And I looked them up on Goat before I even went to meet up with this guy, and they're going for
mhm.
like 200 plus. I think I sold it on Goat for like 225 with that box.
Oh
That's
wow.
like sixty
So
dollar investment to like $200. It's
yeah.
pretty good.
So what it sounds like is you're doing flips not only from, the retail to
Yeah,
offer up, but then you're doing offer up to go.
yeah, yep.
Wow.
I'm still trying
Okay.
to do that. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. You can find sometimes you can find people just letting stuff go for the cheap that don't really know what they have. So
Yeah, why do you think sometimes consumers, want to just let go of items for so cheap, man? Like what do you think is going through their mind or their brain?
really, for me, I think that sometimes they have clutter, like maybe you have like too much stuff, and they're just trying to get rid of
Mhm,
it. And so whatever money is that they can get is basically all profit to them. You know, they're not really thinking of
mhm,
their own investment and stuff like that. Um, but if you're talking about like undercutters and lowball, it's a whole different other story. But
yeah.
yeah, but like offer up, yeah, for sure. I just feel like there's a lot of clutter or people that just have shoes they don't wear anymore that
Mhm.
still have great like resell. They're trying to let it go for cheap just because again they're trying to get rid of like that clutter and mess.
Yeah, which one's your favorite platform of doing business with?
Goat for sure. It's easy,
Yeah.
list easy. So you just slap that label on that box and send it off. You don't have to worry about any kind of returns or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah, you're absolutely right, man. I think the beginning of my year reselling, I've already had a couple cancels, but I think, with eBay and these other platforms where the returns are allowed, it's like that's what's happening. But
Hmm.
with StockX or with Goat, it seems like no, once the sale happens, it's final.
Yeah.
So so what does your business model look like, the Super Six Four? Like are you one of those type of guys that you want to double up, or are you looking for a certain dollars at a margin? What goes through your mind when you're sourcing and you're gonna flip it?
Yeah, for sure. Back when when you watched when I first saw that Hustler Hacks video, he kind of like discussed his 40% margin. So I kind of really like that business model. So I kind of rolled with that in the beginning, and now I'm kind of going towards like a certain dollar amount. So now that some like a lot of shoes that sometimes I purchase are like over $100, $100 buy price, and for me, I would really want $50 profit, net profit after fees and shipping and stuff like that. So I think so for me, my own personal model now is if it's under $50, I would kind of like want to double my money on that. So like a $25 item, I want to net $25 in profit. If it's something over $50, I try to get like from that 50 to $100 range. I try to least get like a $50 net profit in there, and then like trying to go off of that.
Yeah, that's interesting you say that, because I mean, for me, when I first started reselling, and it's my 1 year anniversary, I really never understood when people say like, I want to make at least $50. I remember talking to this certain reseller, and I was like, "What's your business model?" He's like, "Man, I'm trying to make 50 on every item at minimum." And
Mm-hmm.
for me, I got in the game selling baseball cleats, and I'm making
I
like
remember you telling me
five.
that.
Yeah, I'm making like $5, $10. But now that I've been doing this for a year and I'm interviewing people like yourself that are successful, you really start to understand that it's more of product selection
Yeah,
and
yeah,
having
yeah.
smart inventory than just buying something at these stores because of the price that it's at.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So it's I think for people that are listening, that kind of hear, $50, it's very possible, like for
Yeah,
me, now in this reselling game, it's doing a lot more research and I
yep.
think looking it up, but you just got to do it, Miguel.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's definitely depends on your research for sure.
Yeah. So I noticed that, knowing you in the Central Valley, you moved to Vegas, and then, me being in the Central Valley, moving to San Diego. What is the other reseller culture like down there, man?
Oh, reselling culture. Not really know how to answer that because there's for me, I just see like there's a lot of just resellers out here. Just kind
Okay.
of I just run into just like a few people here and there. For some reason, like I think people started doing like New Year's resolutions and stuff like that, trying to
Yeah.
get out there more. So I'm starting to run into a lot more people now. But
Wow.
yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like you just definitely a lot more competition because I think in the Central Valley it was like you're the only person I knew that resold. That was it.
Yeah.
I didn't know anybody else.
Yeah, it's definitely weird, man. Now that I'm in San Diego, I've ran into like 3 to 4 people, and these people don't even got like social media. I mean, these are
Yeah.
not even guys that I follow,
Hmm.
and you're running into them in the store, and it's crazy because Sacramento is a big city. Modesto, Stockton area, it's not as big, but it seems like in the big metropolitan areas, you just find so many resellers just doing the same thing you're doing.
Yeah, yeah, definitely for sure. Especially like in Las Vegas, we do have like a minimum, I think 30 Rosses. Like it's a lot,
Yeah.
and we have about 6 Burlingtons and stuff like that. So we have a lot of stores and a big population. So I'm pretty sure there's a lot more. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a lot more resellers out there that I just haven't ran into yet.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, and it seems like even though it's competitive, Miguel, and there's a lot of resellers, and following your Instagram, I see that you still have W's, man. It's not
Oh
like
yeah.
it's not like you're still not finding anything. So how do you think you're able to still find stuff even though it's still competitive?
So like I just mentioned just a little bit ago, that there's just a like plethora of stores out here. Just a lot of opportunities. You just got to be kind of like at the right place at the right time, right store,
Yeah.
right time. Um, so basically, I think that's really it. Because there's so many stores out here. Everyone can come out here and find something. That's for sure. But you just be
Okay.
like consistently just going out there like 2 or 3 times a week and being consistent, you'll be able to find something.
Yeah, are the other resellers, are they pretty cordial to you? Like, do you network with them at all?
Um, yeah, so like I just go around and it's kind of like I think I'm the one that comes off like, hey, what's up, man? Like, 'cause I
Yeah.
see people like looking up shoes and
Yeah.
whatnot. I've seen people like recently. I think I told you guys about it about like someone is looking up some random like not good shoe. I like
Hmm.
talked to them like, oh yeah, that's not good, and we just kind of start a conversation. And I feel like realized some of these people are a little bit newer. They're trying to getting into it. And I ran into one person in like Burlington. Again, I kind of started that conversation like, oh, like you resell and stuff like that. Getting into it, and he like talking me, asking me about Goat because I told him I sold on Goat as well. I was helping
Hmm.
him out like in store. So I don't know, I just feel like just being nice to people, especially like others, they be able to help you out in the end. So I know sometimes like Cisco, like MC Thrifts on Instagram.
Hmm.
When I first met him, we just talked, and then I remember like when those remember those rock bags came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, And then he DM'd me like, hey, there's a couple of rock bags in here. He's like, I don't have the capital at the moment, but if you're interested, they're here at the store. I'm like, oh, for sure, yeah. And so like, I think that's kind of what being nice and to others, like, hey, they'll hit you up and like, hey, if they don't have the capital at the moment, but it's a good item, like they'll hit you up and stuff like that. And it's kind of like why I do too, is if like there's a long line in a store, I kind of want to be there, and I'm starting to see items. I'm like, hey, someone can like take this item and flip it. So like recently with those like Vapor Maxes, those women's ones, there was a huge line. And then I started hitting up everyone on like on Instagram, like, hey, there's a shoe here at the store. Like, I'm not gonna buy it because the line's too big. I'm trying to move on to another store. And then like, you guys are definitely just out here, just whoever wants to come get it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like being nice to others is definitely something good. So it'll be nice to you.
Yeah, man. I think that's what when I first met you in the store, man. I mean, I didn't know anything really, man.
Yeah.
And I, I met you at that Burlington, and we actually caught a restock, which was kind of funny, right?
Yeah.
And and then you're just picking through these shoes, looking at this, typing in the number, and I'm just observing and just watching. And so for you to take your time to teach someone like me, man, where it's like, hey, this is the process. I think that's what helps the reselling game because a lot of people, Miguel, online, you'll hear they hate the low ballers, they hate the
Yeah.
undercutters, but what are we really doing to help those type of people?
Yeah.
It's like if someone has a bad habit, yeah, it's cool to acknowledge they have a bad habit, but as a human being, what are we doing to prevent it or to help them? And I think that's one of the reasons why I started the podcast, man, was just to really give back to the community, and hopefully we could all stick together where we can start to have like price control, like you and I, we work together, man. I mean, I think, for the people that don't know, we worked on a project where
Oh yeah.
you had found, yeah. Do you want to talk about it or you want
All
me
right,
to
I don't
say it?
mind. Go for it. Go for it.
No, you go for it, man. You're the guest. Go ahead. I talk too much.
No, no, go for it, dude.
All right, so there
You're
was
good.
like these football pads,
Yeah.
like underpants, and I had found some where I was at, and I was still in the valley at that time, and I swooped them up, sold them, and then I noticed that you and I will text like kind of like the bolo, like yo man, like hey, be on the lookout for these, and I was like, dude,
Yeah.
I just sold all of
Yeah.
these, and then you're like, why can't I don't know if I should pick them up. Next thing you know, you pick them up. We talk about it. I end up listing them. You end up shipping them,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I think we have like one more left,
I think
but
it's
we
two
sold.
left. Yeah. Yeah. Two. We sold a lot.
Yeah, we sold a lot, and I think for me, I always tell other resellers like you got to look at each other as colleagues, as a network, man, because like I was able to make money, you made money, you even had them listed on your eBay store,
Yeah.
and then I had them on mine, but for some reason I was just moving them. So I think for other resellers that are very hesitant, Miguel, to work with other resellers, I think you're really missing out, man.
hmm That's for sure. Like you stated before, like for some reason you were the one selling them. Like I think I had mine priced like a little bit cheaper than you, and mine
Yeah.
weren't moving. I'm like, okay, it was weird. I'm like, I'm not getting anything. We had like kind of like the same listing style and like the pictures and whatnot, and then you were just moving them quicker. I'm like, you know what? Like you hit me up and like, you want to just go 50-50 and see if they
Yeah.
sell on your end. I'm like, yeah, go
Yeah.
for it. I'm like, all right, I'm down. It's like
All right.
cheap buy-in, right? It was $10.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'm like,
something like
yeah, it
that.
was like $10 a pop. So like, you know what? Just let's try it out. And it worked.
Yeah,
Down
it
to
worked out.
left.
Yeah, it worked out great, man. Like you had money in your pocket, and then
Yeah.
you still had them listed. So if you sold them, I missed out.
Yeah.
But I think what's interesting with that is that we decided to work together. We're in different states. Next thing you know, you come down to the valley. You're living in Las Vegas. You come up on all these bats.
Yeah.
And then you hit me up and you say, Joey, I got a lot of bats. You want to buy a couple? And then you sold me a couple. Now I got some skin in the game, man.
Yeah,
So
that's for sure. Like I said, it's being nice to others. Like you receive that on your end too. So that's why I feel like I'm like, hey, especially 'cause I was coming down to visit. We're gonna go get like a drink and get some food.
yeah,
I'm like, oh, bro, I just bought all these bats at the store. Like you usually hit up. I come into your town and steal all this right here. So like, yeah, for sure. Just kind of like how I feel like being nice to others. You'll receive that on your end as well.
yeah, man. One reseller told me this quote, and he says, "Your net worth is your network." And I think sometimes if you have that I'm the lone wolf mentality, it works, and but at the same time, if you really want to be successful, it's the next man opening up the door for the next man. And I think as resellers, there should be a lot more networking, a lot more, like, hey, there's some stuff over there, my capital's kind of tight, or this website is dropping something. I think the
Mhm.
more that we do that, man, I think, you know, we'll all be very successful in this
Yeah,
game.
definitely benefits a lot more people.
Yeah, yeah. So talk to us about the move, Miguel. Talk about like the transition of going from one marketplace to another. How was the transition from Modesto, Central California, to Sin City, Las Vegas?
It's interesting for sure. So going from Modesto, there's not that many stores out there. There's like a few, like handful of Rosses, one Marshalls in Burlington. The Marshalls wasn't very good. So I spent a lot of time like when I lived in the valley. I spent a lot of time like, traveling outside. That's for sure, outside like the city. So going like traveling to like the Bay Area, whatnot, to go get anything that's worth anything. So here it's interesting because there's a lot of stores. So you definitely have. I spend like days hitting up like half the stores, So it's just the difference is here's a lot more concentrated. I can spend like all my like entire day just hitting up a store, um, like every hour or twice an hour, So I think that's the biggest difference, really. Especially like, coming over here and not knowing like where the stores are, which stores are good. Sometimes there's stores that are just not very good. They don't restock anything. So just
Yeah.
learning what stores are good, what store. Also, trying to like understand when the restock times are. So I'm trying to get like the handling like the getting down like the restock times on like the Burlingtons. So understand like which stores restocking which time, so I can get like a plan of hitting stores at certain times and be able to catch restocks for better finds. And then again over here, especially is the competition. Understanding there's a lot of competition out here. You're not always gonna find anything. Like I think this week I picked up. Oh, I only picked up 2 items. I think it was the shoes I
Oh
saw.
wow.
Yeah, that's it. This entire week, I actually went out to at least try, and I think I only picked up like 2 items again because it is a little bit drier right now. But also there's a lot of competition, so it's just
Yeah.
that's it.
Any tips for someone that is thinking about moving, or they're going to a new place? Because I know you had to get a place to live.
Oh
So are
yeah,
you looking? Yeah. I mean, I know being a reseller and moving, it's like, man, I'm looking for a post office. I'm looking
oh
for a
yeah,
FedEx. I'm looking for a FedEx store. I'm looking for the UPS store. Like, I mean, that stuff matters to me now because of the side hustle that I got going
yeah.
on. So, did you think about that when you're moving and looking for a place to stay at?
Not really. Like what I kind of did was just like figure out which place I wanted, and then from there I started researching. So I came out here like a few weeks before, to pick out an apartment before I actually moved out here. And after that, that's when I kind of researched like, all right, where's the post office at? Where's like a UPS store? Like, where are these Marshall? Where's the closest stores to me? You
Yeah.
know. So that's what I did. It didn't play a factor. Like, oh wait, this post office is right next to this apartment complex. But what if that apartment complex is bad? So I just
Right.
kind of picked the place first, and then after that, I did like the research to try to understand like where these places are next in the vicinity of my apartments.
Yeah. What was it hard to move your inventory from
Oh no,
one part of the
not
state
at
to
the
another?
time. No, not at the time. It's because I didn't have that much inventory. So a lot of my inventory is without box, anyways. So a lot of that stuff could fit in like one of those giant, like those large Home Depot boxes. So I think I had like 6 of those Home Depot boxes full of just inventory. So it wasn't too bad,
Huh.
especially because I was much smaller reseller like than most. So it's a lot easier for me to make that transition and making that move. So at the time, yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, what's the core of your business? Like, what's the main items you're selling?
The main items is definitely shoes. That's for sure. Men's shoes. I kind of sell like women's shoes as well. Some kids shoes, but mostly men's shoes. That's the core of my
Okay.
inventory.
Okay. Yeah, man. I think that's very good advice, to people that are that are moving, because I mean there's a lot to think about. I mean, for me, I'm still learning the freeways out here,
Oh
and
yeah,
it's been
yeah,
it's been a month. You're trying to figure out when's the traffic, when's not the traffic, and then also the guys that are, the guys and the girls that are in your neck of the woods. You look at their IG, you're like, yo, man, like, did they pick up the shoe? They post the shoe? Was it recent? Did they buy it? Did they not buy it? So I think sometimes, you don't want to spend too much time on your competition. I
yeah.
think, you want to pay attention, but you still got to go out there and, like you said, do the homework, look for restocks, look at the stores, look at the schedules, and really just put your best foot forward, man. I think
Mhm.
that's how you're going to be successful in reselling.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. So how many items do you have in your inventory?
I think it's about on eBay is like 200 plus.
Oh
Still have
no.
yeah. So and then I also have some stuff I still need to list. Not that much, probably like 10 items or so. I still need to like take pictures and list them. But yeah, it's definitely like I think I have over 200 items on my eBay store.
Okay, cool. And then also previously you mentioned that you just started Macari. It's
Yeah.
interesting because with the new year, I just started Poshmark. And so I want to know, why did you pick Macari?
Okay, so for Poshmark, I actually did have a Poshmark.
Yeah.
What ended up happening was it was on my old phone, and then my phone got jacked, and so
Oh,
yeah, so I went to like a music festival, and it got jacked there. And then what ended up happening was, so I went to like trying to log back on, and for some reason I couldn't remember my information, so like it locked me out of my account. So I was
oh
like,
wow.
I'm like, you know what? Posh is kind of hard anyways. You got to do like a lot of like sharing and whatnot. So I just, I started Macari right now to see how that goes. I don't have that much listed, probably like 10 or so items, but I'm trying to list more each day, But I'm definitely going to try to get back into Posh, get my information back, get my account back, stuff like that, just to have another like another site or app to sell on. I'm also going to try to what's it called? What's another one? Trying to think. My bad. StockX. I'm trying to get more into StockX as well.
Yeah.
Like at the end of last year, I started like to sell a little bit on StockX and trying to get more into that, just to have like more chances of a sale.
Yeah, man. One of my buddies from back in the day, shout out Action Jackson. He's been killing it on StockX, and he sent me a picture, and he was like, "Man, this is just what I sold today." And then, within a couple hours later, he's like, "Man, I just sold two more." So, I mean, you just got to really figure out with these apps which one really tailors to your business
Yeah.
model, or to the inventory that you have. So yeah, man, keep us posted for sure
Uh,
on what happens. So I have this new segment on the show, Miguel. It's called Rapid Fire.
all
So
right.
normally what I do is I ask, the guests some questions, and boom, first thing comes out their mind. But this one's gonna be a little bit different because you're my buddy.
All right.
Okay, so we're gonna just imagine it's the perfect shopping center. Now, this shopping center has a lot of retail stores. So it's gonna have
Okay.
a a Ross, it's
Okay.
gonna have a Burlington, it's gonna
Okay.
have a Marshalls, it's
Stuff
gonna
right
have a
now.
TJ Maxx, it's gonna have DD's,
Oh
it's
God.
gonna have it's gonna have Nike outlet,
Okay.
Adidas outlet, Under Armour outlet, and you know what, Miggy? It's even gonna have the Goodwill outlet.
Okay.
So in the order, man,
Oh, God. That's
what
a lot to remember.
store are you going to first, and then what store are you going to last? So let the people know.
Okay. First of all, I'm going to Nike.
Okay.
Nike for sure. And then after that, I probably hit up Adidas, and then I'll probably go to uh, especially because like right now, how dry Ross has been.
Yeah.
Um, I probably want to hit up Marshalls first because they've been kind of heating up. I'll hit up Marshalls, and then I'll probably hit up Burlington, then Ross, and then go to
Yeah.
TJ Maxx, then Goodwill, I guess, and
Yeah.
then Under Armour, and then after that, DD's.
Oh
Yeah,
wow. Okay. Yeah. Under Armour's a sleeper, man. I think
yeah. Every once in a while, you can find something good.
yeah, the times I've gone, I haven't found nothing. But man, I am ready if I do find some stuff. So where can people find you on social media?
The only social media I use is Instagram. So you can find me on Instagram at it's at TheSupaSix4. He has the six spelled out, so it's a SUPASIX4.
Yeah, man, and definitely we'll put a link in the bio so people can click on it. But before we get to that last question, just talk about your biggest L and then your biggest W.
Oh, okay.
For
I think
well, let's do 20. We're gonna do 2019 because this is January. So
2019. Oh, that one's kind of hard. I think the rock bag is right now my biggest
oh
L. I think that's my
oh
biggest L right now. That's honestly
yeah
like $50 investment. I think I have four of them. I think I have four. Yeah, I
okay
think I have four bags. But again, that's like because I still have them. Again, right now people are still selling them for like $100. Like, sure, you can get like 10 and $20 in profit at the end of the
yeah
day, $25. But that's not kind of what I was looking for in the beginning. So, and plus, I'm kind of in a situation where I don't need to sell quick. So I kind of just holding off until like again this summer to see how it goes. Keep my price higher than the listings right now just to see how it goes. And then I think the biggest W at the moment is those bats. Those bats I picked up.
yeah
Because again, I bought they're $15 a pop, and then you're just selling for $100 plus. It's a huge margin. And then if you're selling
Mhm.
multiple of them, like I did, like I found I think I found 12. And I gave you two, huh?
Mm.
Yeah, I think I found
No,
12.
you didn't give them to me. I bought them.
Oh yeah, my bad. I sold it to you for at cost. What are you talking about? I sold it to you at cost.
And then also it cost me some wings, man, and a drink
Oh,
at
I told you not to
Applebee's.
buy that.
I
I,
know it's all good, man.
yeah. Well, okay. I guess you can count that too. Um, but yeah, I think that's like kind of like the biggest win at the moment. I think the coolest stuff I found were like stupid earphone that were like the off-white Timberlands and like the OBJ cleats. I think those are the coolest things. I think those are the biggest, the largest like what's called profit margin. That's for sure. Because like what the cleats were $20, sold them for $375, and then bought the off-white Timberlands for $50, sold it for I think it was 300. I think so. Yeah, like
Yeah.
$300. And then but yeah, so those are my biggest profit margins. But I want to say the biggest win are those bats because I sold them. I sold I think four of them for very good profit, and then so
Mhm.
I sold and plus what's it called? The prices had dropped a bit. That's for sure. I still have six of them, and I'm kind of waiting out the low ballers to get out, and keep my other bats really high up there. Like when they're first selling that first week, I remember some of our friends were selling them for like $175 to $200 a bat, and that was like crazy. So I'm kind of have my prices back up there. So again, eventually, as soon as those undercutters are out of the way, we'll have those other bats, those six bats I still have, be able to sell those and get a lot more profit.
Yeah, it's interesting definitely with the low ballers, Miguel, where it's like they just could be making so much more money in life, man. And I was joking with this one dude on IG, and it went along the lines where it's like, what do you tell your employer when it comes raise time? Like,
Yeah,
oh no, that's too much. I don't want a $10,000 salary increase. Just give me like 5,000.
yeah,
But really, the mindset's really got to change. So hopefully in 2020, man, you know, uh, the low ballers and undercutters could just change their way. So we'll see what happens.
yeah.
So last question, man. What are your goals for 2020?
My goals, I have a few of them actually. So
Yeah.
again, I want to get more into Macari. So that's one thing. Be a little bit more successful in Macari. Like I'm just starting out, so I just kind of want to get some sales on there. Definitely build like the Poshmark, especially. I want to get back into that. Again, like I said, I got locked out of my account. I need to kind of redo that and get back on that. And also build more of like buy more inventory from online, like online arbitrage stuff. So
Yeah.
find those deals on like online stuff and get more inventory that way. So that's definitely those are my few goals that I have this year. That's for sure.
Yeah, awesome, man. I think it's important to have goals. I was talking to a reseller, and he was like, "Yo, man, like do you write down your goals? And I told him, I said, it's something like that, but you do have to have goals, Miguel, because I was talking to my wife. We took our kids to Legoland, and we're driving back, but it's like, without goals, you can't achieve anything. If you don't have something to aim for, you're not going to hit anything. And I think, for me, I think this is the year for resellers just to really level up, man. And I think we have a really good opportunity
Yeah.
to do that. I think there's good content out there. There's a lot of resellers that are willing to help. There's a lot of YouTube guys that are, putting in a lot of work. So shout out to everybody that's just working hard, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, the Super 6 4, thank you for being on the show today, man.
Thank you. Second time's.
The second time's the charm, man. But no, I appreciate you,
Oh
man,
yeah,
from
for
the
sure.
bottom of my heart, dude. It's like, it seems like you were the first person, dude. Like, you didn't push me to the side and say, man, you don't know nothing. You just said, hey, I'm gonna try to help you out as best as I can. And then look at now, man. It's like,
Exactly.
yeah, now it's like, we both became top rated. We're both growing.
Yeah.
I'm able to start a podcast now. And then, now you're a guest on the podcast. So, you know, I think people really don't know the impact you can have in someone's life, man.
Mhm.
So I think for 2020, go make an impact in someone's life. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, that would be awesome for everybody to do. But you can find today's guest on Instagram at TheSupaSix4. Six is spelled out. You can visit the show's website at aresellersjourney.com, where you can find a link to my Instagram at eBay Joey and the shows at A Reseller's Journey. If you like what you're hearing, don't forget to subscribe and follow on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Remember, never forget why you started. Peace.